When I entered my room, Mom was stealing my savings. I angrily snatched my money back. What the hell are you doing? This is for food. Are you going to starve us all? Come on, I need it for the audition. I still refused no matter how she begged. Then she suddenly pointed behind me. Look, a flying elephant! Taking advantage of my carelessness, Mom snatched the money and ran away. All I could do was helplessly watch. Hi, I'm Adela. Mom was pregnant with me when she was only 16, and her ex-boyfriend, who was also my dad, immediately dumped her after finding out. Mom and I only have each other. However, sometimes I feel like I'm her mom. All the burdens in the family fall on my shoulders. Mom wanted to become a famous actress and got too focused on it. Therefore, I had to learn to take care of both myself and her from an early age. Although I'm only 16, with a mom like that, I've always felt like a 30-year-old woman. During my childhood, Mom never once came to a parent meeting for me. She was always busy with auditions or growing her fan base on social media. The only time she showed up at my school was to share about her career as invited by my teacher. That day, Mom came to my class in a fancy dress. She was wearing a white-brimmed hat and fur scarf in the 86 Fahrenheit degree weather. I still remember my teacher's dumbfounded face and the sarcastic laughter of my classmates. Is she for real? That looks like from the 30s. But Mom just kept on bragging about her career. Then it started to get ridiculous when she proudly boasted that she had played a major role in The Walking Dead. Wait, for real? They excitedly asked her to prove it. Mom pulled out her phone and played the scene she was in. However, despite squinting our eyes, none of us could spot her. Where are you? Here, can't you see my beautiful face? She impatiently rewinded the video. As it turned out, Mom only played a person being bitten by a zombie. Her scream was the only line, and that scene didn't last more than 2 seconds. Someone smirked. That's it. I was so embarrassed that I rushed out of the classroom. Mom saw that and quickly ran after me. However, the fancy dress made her trip, and we became the laughingstock of everyone. After many years, despite Mom's best efforts, her acting career only stopped at being a background actor. I advised her to find a stable job, but she wouldn't listen. She didn't care about our family situation either. So, in order to earn extra income and pay the bills, I had to work part-time at a fashion store. That day, when I was working, Mom appeared with a panicked face. Adela, do you have money? The bills need to be paid, and I also need some for a party tonight. I can only give you money for the bills, Mom. You should find a real job already. After that, I went into the changing room to get money for her. However, when my shift ended, before I could leave, the shop owner discovered that an expensive dress was missing. After checking the camera, we discovered that my mom stole it. She did it when I went into the changing room. I fearfully begged the shop owner not to call the police and paid for the dress. However, I was fired. That night, I angrily waited for Mom to come home. Seeing her drunkenly walking around with a stolen dress on made me extremely furious. However, she just casually went back to her room and left me alone. Losing a job is not easy. The family burdens weighed on me even more. I had to take up a night shift at a convenience store. One night during my shift, a drunk man walked in. He stared at me, then smirked. Pretty girl, are you alone? Careful of the bad guys. The man suddenly walked towards me, his hands forcefully grabbing mine. My whole body was trembling. I tried to push him away, but I couldn't. At that moment, from the door, a guy rushed in and chased him out of the store. Oh my god, it was Jim, my history classmate. However, we had never talked to each other before. I didn't know he was so brave. After the men left, Jim's hand was injured. To thank him, I bandaged his wound and offered him a Coke. You shouldn't be working so late. It's very dangerous. I know, but I need money. Hearing that, Jim suddenly offered me a part-time job as a housekeeper for his family. His dad was too busy with work, so they needed a reliable housekeeper and was willing to pay a handsome salary. Yes, I agreed right away. A few days later, I started my first day at Jim's house. I was surprised to learn that his family is very rich, and his dad is Jonathan Hanks, a famous director. Jim is so kind that he treats me like a good friend. Gradually, we became close. One evening, when my mom and I were at home, Jim suddenly came, looking depressed. It was like he had just seen the dead. I quickly brought him into the house and asked about it. After he calmed down, Jim confided to me that his dad was dating a famous actress. They planned to get married at the end of the year. However, because they were working on a movie together, they kept it a secret to avoid scandal. Jim was really disappointed. He was hoping that his parents could reunite. However, that was just a dream after all. Sadly, all I could do was comfort my poor friend. Then, a few days later, things took a turn for the worse when my mom unexpectedly showed up at Jim's house. Mom, why are you here? Move! I'm here to see Jonathan Hanks, not you. She pushed me aside and walked over to where Jim and his dad were sitting. Mom suddenly showed the video of my conversation with Jim the other night and threatened Mr. Hanks. Surely you don't want your secret to be exposed, right? Give me a role in your new movie. He angrily responded, "This cowardly blackmailing can't threaten me. Get out of here!" Failed to achieve her goal, she angrily turned and left. While I was shocked, Jim looked at me with disappointment. Leave my house. Very soon, my mom uploaded Jim's family secret on her personal page and used it to get everyone's attention. Even the press was interested and kept digging into it. Gosh, it made me feel so sick. In the days that followed, Jim stopped going to school. As for my mom, she kept posting information about his family on her page. What she wanted was just to be more popular at any cost. Enough! I needed to stop my evil mother and help my best friend Jim. That day, I forged a wedding invitation with the names of Jim's father and his girlfriend. Then I placed it in the most visible place in the living room. Sure enough, Mom saw it. At that moment, I ran over to snatch it back and put it in my bag. That's Hank's wedding invitation, isn't it? So what? It's not your business. Then I left. Indeed, Mom was trapped. When I was away, she rummaged through my bag and took a picture of the invitation. Soon after, Mom posted that photo on her personal page. To hype it up and attract more attention, she even told the reporters that she would take the photos from their wedding and sell them. It was immediately effective. Everyone was waiting for her every move. Of course, there was no wedding at all. Therefore, my mom couldn't take any pictures. People began to doubt her information and belittled her. She had to delete her personal page to avoid the wave of anger. Not only that, her career was also ruined when nobody invited such a notorious person to act in a movie anymore. One morning, we were disturbed by a group of strangers. They were demanding their money back. Turns out, my mom took their money and promised them pictures of the fake wedding. Worse, she had already spent it all. They were so pissed off that they threatened to sue her. Adela, help me, I can't go to jail. No, it's time for you to grow up and face your consequences. After that incident, she had to find a stable job to pay off the money she owed. Hopefully, she'll be more mature after this. As for Jim, after my many attempts to contact him, he finally agreed to meet me. I'll apologize to him and hope that our relationship can go back to the way it was. When my sister and I were chatting, suddenly a ball flew straight to my head, causing me to fall to the ground. Right after that, Julian, a member of the basketball team, rushed over and asked my sister, "Phoenix, are you okay? I didn't hurt you, did I?" Excuse me? I'm the one who got hit by you. Stay away, nerd. You have 4 eyes to dodge my ball. He pushed me away and turned to Phoenix. Jeez, I was no longer surprised by situations like that. Just because I was uglier than my sister, I was always treated unfairly. Hi, I'm Alex. My beautiful life officially ended at the age of 2 when my little sister Phoenix was born. With a pretty face and beautiful blonde hair that was inherited from my mom, she quickly became the center of the family. My parents always favored Phoenix over me. The older I got, the more beautiful my sister became. The boys in our school treated her like a goddess. Phoenix's list of ex-boyfriends is longer than a shopping bill. On the other hand, I, a very ordinary girl, was always overlooked. And it was because of those differences that my relationship with her grew more and more distant. Phoenix may be better than me in every way, but there is still something that makes me proud of. While Phoenix couldn't get a C in math, I was the star of math club for 3 years straight. That day, when I was discussing the upcoming competition with my teammates, suddenly Phoenix appeared. I asked her in surprise, "Oh, are you lost? This is not the right place for you." "No, sis. I'm here to sign up for the math team." How ridiculous! She couldn't even memorize constant equations, and yet she wanted to join the math club? When I was about to chase her away, the male members immediately stopped me. Their eyes lit up when they saw my sister. Just through a few questions, all agreed to let Phoenix join the club and didn't even ask her to take the test like everyone else. In the days that followed, Phoenix started showing up at the math club. However, she always fell asleep during team discussion. She couldn't even solve any questions in the study outline. But no matter how dumb she was, the team male members still admired her very much. They surrounded Phoenix like dwarfs waiting for Snow White to tell a story. And what was worse, as a math competition between high schools drew nearer, I was suddenly put in the substitute team and Phoenix took my place. Immediately, I rushed to see Martin, the math team captain, to question him. "Are you crazy? You let Phoenix take my place? She can't even do a simple math problem." "Calm down, Alex. You know, our club has always been looked down on. Phoenix can help bring more attention to us. We're in dire need of more participants to continue maintaining this club, and this benefits the upcoming competition as well." At Martin's answer, I had no other choice. I brought all my anger to see my best friend Davis. We've known each other since we were little. Davis has always been the one who understands me best. Whenever I was frustrated at my sister, he would comfort me and take my side. That weekend, my parents went on a trip together to celebrate their 18th wedding anniversary. My sister and I were the only ones left at home. While I wanted to enjoy the weekend by watching my favorite movie with Davis, Phoenix ruined it by throwing a party at our house with her friends. "Stop your noisy party, Phoenix!" "Come on, don't be so grumpy. Join us, sis." When I was about to flatly refuse her, Davis stopped me. "That's not a bad idea, Alex. We've seen that movie anyway. I think we should change the pace a bit." When Phoenix heard that, she pulled my best friend's hand and dragged him into the party. When Phoenix and Davis were enjoying themselves, I sat in the corner and angrily gulped down all the juices on the table. Suddenly, I felt dizzy. Only then did I realize there seemed to be something abnormal in the juice. What's in this?" I handed the glass to a person standing nearby. "Wine, obviously." Oh, Before I could finish my sentence, I passed out from drunkenness. When I woke up, the party was over. I was lying on the sofa with a blanket covering my body. Weird. Because I was so thirsty, I went to the kitchen. But then, a horrifying scene caught my eye. Phoenix was kissing Davis on the lips. I was so horrified that I screamed at the top of my lungs. Soon after, the three of us talked. Phoenix admitted that she just noticed Davis recently. Davis also shyly confessed that he had feelings for my sister. Despite both of them trying to explain, I furiously left the room. In the days that followed, Phoenix and Davis tried to talk to me. But because I couldn't accept the fact that my BFF liked my obnoxious sister, I ignored them all. That day, when I was sitting alone in the cafeteria, suddenly Davis came over. "Alex, can we talk?" "You shouldn't fall for my sister. She's a queen bee and you're just an ordinary guy. How long can you keep her interested? You'll be replaced soon." I tried to advise Davis, but it only made him think that I was calling him incompetent. Then we got into an argument again. At the fear of losing my only best friend, I decided I needed to destroy their relationship. That day, when my sister and I were at home, the doorbell suddenly rang. After Phoenix went out to check, she became strangely scared and said in an urgent voice, "If anyone asks, please say I'm not at home." Then she immediately ran upstairs. Feeling odd, I went to the door to check. Standing there was Tom, Phoenix's ex-boyfriend. Turns out, he still hadn't accepted that Phoenix broke up with him, so he regularly tried to show up and convince her to come back. As for Phoenix, she could only avoid him since he was too hard-headed to accept the truth. At that moment, a plan popped up in my head. I had found a way to stop my sister's relationship with my BFF. Knowing that Phoenix and Davis were going on a date at the chicken house for the weekend, I secretly used my sister's phone and texted Tom to meet me at that location. 2112 is Phoenix's date of birth, which was also her password. Then I carefully deleted that message. As expected, when Tom arrived at the chicken house, he caught sight of Phoenix having an intimate time with Davis. His jealousy flared up and he immediately punched Davis. That sucks! I didn't anticipate that! Tom shouted at Davis.
Stay away from my girlfriend, freaking wimp!
Girlfriend? What does he mean, Phoenix? He is lying! Please listen to my explanation!
No! Your sister is right. We're too different and we won't get far.
After saying that, Davis dejectedly left. Since that day, Phoenix and Davis had stopped speaking to each other. Looks like they had officially broken up. But instead of feeling happy because my best friend was finally back to me, somehow the guilt kept creeping into my heart, especially when those two looked like corpses after the breakup. On the day the school prom took place, Phoenix and Davis were voted queen and king, but neither of them showed up. After the prom, Phoenix pleaded with our parents to let her move to Grandma's house. She wanted to spend the summer there. I knew my sister was trying to avoid Davis. As for my best friend, he hadn't been to school for more than a week. After school, I immediately went to his house. Davis opened the door with a sullen expression. After a moment of silence, we started talking. Are you still upset about Phoenix? Yeah, you were right. She was a bad girlfriend. But at least, she was a great sister. What do you mean? Davis sighed and told me everything. Turns out, Phoenix has always been looking out for me. She joined the math club just to get closer to me. The fact that the members kicked me out of the team was something that Phoenix didn't know in advance. She quickly threw a party after that just to cheer me up. After you got drunk, it was Phoenix who took care of you. Seeing her tender side, I fell for her before I knew it. I was very surprised to learn that and realized how stupid I was. I had always held a grudge against my sister because of my jealousy. I immediately told Davis everything I had done and told him to stop Phoenix before she left. Hearing that, Davis rushed out of the house. Luckily, we made it to the pier before Phoenix left. I told the two of them the truth. After knowing everything, they quickly made up. Seeing them happy made me feel so much lighter. I almost hurt my loved ones because of jealousy. It's great that things are better now. Davis and Phoenix have become a couple, and my relationship with my sister has improved a lot. When I was 6, during a practice session, I asked my mom for permission to go to the bathroom, but she refused.
Shut up! Go back to practice. You should feel ashamed that you're still not as good as your brother.
Despite my pleas, she refused. I had no choice but to continue practicing. I cried and danced until I couldn't hold it anymore and peed in my pants. That made me extremely embarrassed. For a long time after that, I was still haunted by it. Hi, I'm Bertha, 17 years old. From a very young age, my brother and I were taught to dance and Mom was our coach. Although we're siblings and live in the same house, the way she treated us was very different. David revealed his talent very early. He easily performed difficult movements and was admired by many. Because of that, Mom also favored him more, while I was the complete opposite of him. Just because I was slow and not as talented as my brother, Mom didn't care much about me. Aside from scolding, she also often gave me harsh punishments. Once, I had to walk barefoot in the snow because I couldn't keep my balance while dancing, or fasting for days just because Mom thought I looked fat. To avoid her punishment, I always tried my best to practice. And that effort also paid off when my brother and I won the Junior Dance Championship and were selected to compete in the national tournament. Then, an incident happened. That day, when we were practicing for the tournament in California, suddenly, David wanted to change the choreography.
Bertha, if we want to win, we have to do aerial dance.
Are you sure? We've only succeeded once. I worriedly asked my brother.
Come on, let's do it.
After saying that, David immediately lifted me up to try that difficult movement. And then, just as I feared, his arms weren't strong enough. David made me stagger and tumble to the ground. After that horrible fall, my leg was badly injured. The doctor said it was very difficult for me to recover and continue competing. And it was when the tragedy of my life began. When I was trying my best to recover from that injury, I suddenly received terrible news from Mom.
Bertha, you won't be performing in the National League with David anymore.
Why? David casually told me.
Don't you get it? Your injury takes a long time to heal. I can't win with you.
I found another dance partner for David. Next week, they'll go abroad for training. For now, just take care of your leg. I was completely shocked by their decision. I can't believe they abandoned me when I was at my weakest. Since then, I've become self-conscious, insecure, and even stopped focusing on healing my leg. I spent most of my time locking myself in my room until one day, Dr. Doris came to see me. She was very angry when I dropped out of treatment. I told Doris about what I had just been through. Hearing that, she sighed regretfully. But if you stop treating your leg now, it'll be deformed for the rest of your life. Please, they can't abandon you, but you can't abandon yourself. At Doris's persuasion, I agreed to continue the treatment. She was also very thoughtful when she introduced me to a boy named Tom. Doris said that Tom was also a dancer who was undergoing treatment to compete in tournaments, and he could be a great help to me. The next day, Tom and I went to the stadium to start the treatment program. First was a running workout. However, because I was exhausted, I gave up pretty quickly. Then suddenly, Tom threw a rope and a big wheel in front of me.
Drag it to that point.
He pointed to the far side of the stadium. Are you kidding me? My injury hasn't healed yet. I won't be able to do that.
Trust me. Put on this blindfold and follow my instructions.
Tom said as he brought the blindfold towards me. Although I didn't want to, under his pressure, I had to try to drag that wheel. Every time I was about to give up, Tom would scream,
"Only 16 left! Go!"
Since I couldn't see, whenever he said that, I tried to move a little more. I kept trying until I realized that Tom's 16 feet seemed to be endless. Thinking he was joking with me, I angrily took off my blindfold and threw it on the ground and screamed,
"You bastard! You're making fun of me, aren't you?" Calm down. Take a look at the distance you've gone.
I unconsciously followed his words and was surprised to see that the distance I had walked was far beyond the original finish line.
You know, you always limit yourself, thinking that you're inferior to your brother and easily give up, and easily accept your mom's unfair treatment. It's time you stand up and fight.
Tom's words shook me to the core. I finally understood why Doris made me practice with him. Tom had great willpower and never seemed to give up. Since then, I practiced harder. Just a short time later, both Tom and I returned to our peak. Since I hadn't found a new dance partner yet, Tom asked me to collaborate with him. Our goal was to win spots at the national championship. After months of practicing and competing, we finally secured our spots. But when we were happy, something unexpected happened. That day, after finishing another tournament and winning first place, my mom and my brother appeared at the door of my hotel room. They said they watched me play and noticed how much I had improved. Bertha, do you want to return to being David's dance partner? If it's you too, you'll definitely win.
Right. Aren't we family? Come back to me.
Despite their persuasion, I told them I already had a great dance partner and wouldn't leave him. Hearing that, they left angrily. Not long after that, the national championship finally took place. Ironically, my brother was my rival. A few hours before the competition started, when Tom and I were chatting in the hallway, suddenly a masked man rushed in. He raised a baseball bat and aimed at Tom's leg. Immediately, I jumped in front of Tom to protect him and unfortunately got hit. The masked man quickly left, leaving me lying on the ground in agony.
Bertha, are you okay? Let me take you to the hospital.
No, the match is about to start. I can't miss it. Although Tom tried to stop me, I suppressed the pain and stepped onto the dance floor. When I saw the panicked face of Mom and David, I realized they were behind that attack. But leaving all grudges behind, I focused solely on the competition. At the end of our dance, Tom and I did an aerial pose, something my brother and I had filmed many times, in front of the amazed eyes of the audience and judges. In the end, I overtook my own brother for the overall victory. It was the first time in my life that I truly felt happiness. Not long after that, the police came to investigate my assault. They soon found out that Mom and David were indeed the culprits. Not surprisingly, it was time for them to pay for their wrongdoing. As for me, I'm currently starting my new life. I'll be flying abroad to compete in the World Championship next month. After all our crazy experiences together, Tom and I got even closer. We became a couple and were filled with hope for our upcoming future.